Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel and my 140 LAFF series. You may have noticed that I am a black cat. This was not my choice and not the variation of cat that I would have chosen, but here we are. My toon tasks currently are to get some stolen jokes in field offices, get control chips from level 13 plus cogs, and find some spray paint cans in a hidden location, which is the VP, so I decided to work on that one first. This was actually an event with the Cold Callers Guild where every round there had to be at least one drop gag used and basically no multiple cog attacks or lure was allowed, or any fires, remotes or SOS cards. Very fittingly, the SOS card was Clumsy Ned, who is actually a drop SOS card. It was really fun just being able to use drop on the cogs and see how good the accuracy really is. And I would say we used only drop gags like 90% of the time, when we didn't even need to use them that much. And surprisingly, the drop actually did hit more often than it missed. It was Friday the 13th when we did this event, so that's why we turned into black cats. But I don't know why some people are still their normal toon selves, but I wish that was me too. The package I needed for my toon task did show up in between the rounds, but everyone thought that it was the deer that picked it up and were congratulating them, and I was like, well, it was actually me, but okay. Into the Skellycog round, we definitely needed to use Toon Up more when the drop gags missed, but we didn't have too many issues and we even got to finish off the last cog with a Toontanic. That wasn't even the last cog. We got tricked, so we had to do another Toontanic. And just a little flower pot from me, but I probably could have messed up the accuracy here, to be honest. This group of toons was really friendly and fun to do this VP with, and even though I didn't advance my 2.0 cog suit from this, I did get my package I needed for my task, so it was still a success. So when I logged in next and I was actually back to being a regular brown rabbit again, I went to hand in my task to Dr. Googly Moogly, who then sent me to Donald's Dreamland, where they asked for just 4,000 jelly beans. I finally got an easy task for once, yes! But of course, when I had to return back, he then gave me a task for 10 mega movers in field offices. So that does mean more field offices are on the horizon. So I ran to find a 3-star field office and set up my own boarding group for once this time. We started off with throw, squirt and lure, which I feel like was pretty elite actually. But obviously you don't want to have to use too much of your throw and squirt early on either. The higher gags anyway. It was perhaps the most seamless first round that I've ever had in a field office. Just being able to lure and hit easily with throw or squirt that everyone has on the team was great. But of course, this next floor was where I needed to get the mega movers for my toon task. But why do they make the task be for 10 when you only get 4 at a time in a field office? We got both sound and trap gags unlocked, meaning we were only missing toon up and drop, so still not too bad. There was a few more chunky level cogs on this next floor from the get-go, so one of them got fired away immediately and we tried to lure and trap the rest of them, but then of course the lure missed. We tried to use some doodles for tuning us up since we don't have the tune-up gags yet, but it didn't go very well. We continued using our trap and lure on them with some throw and squirt for the lower cogs or to finish off the higher ones, and after not too long we were done. Onto the ice game now, and I'm sure I used to end up bumping into so many of the cogs, but I actually have improved so much and hardly lose much laugh anymore. And look how close the green duck was to dying. Oh my god, if they'd gone sad, it would have been such bad news for us, but thankfully they just about survived. Obviously, we then all got a bit tuned up in the elevator, but still they only had 50 laugh going into the boiler room. So we needed to start off the round with some tune-up. The rest of us used our storm clouds, and then we used sound to get rid of all of the cogs. We did some birthday cakes, but the blue bear ended up getting pretty low on laugh, so some more tune-up was needed. And then we did a few more storm clouds and birthday cakes before the boiler took away our squirt gags. We then put our remotes onto each of the cogs and let them damage each other and heal us, and we kept hitting them a little bit too. And annoyingly, another cog did end up joining because we weren't fast enough with our gag choices. And then they took away our drop this time, which isn't too bad. And then the boiler got heated up again. We did some tune up, and I actually don't know the reasoning for hitting the level 12 with hoses, so please tell me if you know why we did that. I just followed whatever the other people were doing. But everyone was getting pretty low on LAFF, so we just foghorned to get rid of the rest of the cogs. I was still checking everyone's LAFF and I was going to unite, but I was on the wrong toon and the duck went sad. It seems like so far in every video there is a sacrifice. And I don't mean for that to happen, and now we lost someone last time and someone this time. We focused then on getting the rest of us tuned up before the boiler went back on defense again. 1 heal and 2 damage remotes on the cogs and some drop and some tune up before we could hit the boiler again. We did a triple wedding cake and then he took away our squirt gags, and we'd also run out of birthday cakes as well. So the bear very kindly did a gag up all unite before I had the chance to do it. So we all got to use our birthday cakes again before he went back on defense for like the 3rd time. So we used the same strategy as before really, and with only 3 of us, it was actually surprisingly still going pretty well. And once we had our squirt back and he was heated up, we used storm clouds and a geyser and he was almost done. We finished him off with our birthday cakes, and despite losing the duck, I think that we worked pretty well together as a team, and I completed 3 of my toon tasks in here. I also gained 1 3-star damage remote and 1 2-star damage remote, and I only have my Mega Movers task left. I headed over to the toon hall first to hand in my toon tasks, and my task continued as 3 boilers to defeat. And then the next task I got was a control chip from boilers. More field offices again. I can't get away. I had to go back to Bonnie Bubbles in the task force hideout too, and she sent me over to Silly Street, where I accidentally did join this battle, but I was able to tune up this little toon, which they appreciated, and then headed off on my way to visit Jessie Jester. They gave me the task of fishing 3 lucky juggling cubes in Toontown Central, so that was easy peasy. I went down to the street to the pond, and it was also fish bingo, and I love fish bingo. So I not only managed to fish all 3 juggling cubes that I needed, but I also managed to get a bingo. So win-win. I headed back to Jessie, and of course he gave me another task that I need to do a field office for, of course. I needed to get a prized joke from boilers, but you know, the field offices can wait for another day. My Lawbot suit was actually ready for promotion, and for me to reach 140 LAFF soon, obviously I also need to make sure that I max all of my cog suits. I've only done my Sellbot and Cashbot suits so far. A lot of the people in this CJ did seem to know each other, and I also haven't done a CJ in quite a while, so I wasn't fully sure of what strategies you use here, as the cogs are higher than they used to be as well. But we started off with using some trap and throw to finish them off, which worked fine the first time, but then lure missed the next time, and they do hit for quite a chunk sometimes. But lure did get back to being more reliable, so we used some squirt, some trap, made sure we were tuned up, and it was pretty smooth sailing from there onwards actually. We sounded the very last set of cogs and finished them off with a safe, and we didn't actually get a chance to tune up again, but we weren't looking in too bad shape anyway. I did only realise once the cog round was over that one of the toons only carried throw and drop gags. I guess they did well if I didn't even notice for that long, but it's not often I see toons like that. The other side were finishing up, and this toon had the same jelly bean skirt as me. So cute. Here's a fun fact that you may not know. In the CJ, the toons are in order of the oldest made toon on the right to the newest made toon on the left. So I am as much to the right as possible because my toon was made back in the playtesting time of TTR in 2014. But this also means that I get Flippy to shoot out of the cannon, who we all know is my fave, and I managed to get him in 2 of the chairs and we got 11 out of 12 there. I do get a bit more nervous when there's more hammers everywhere, which depends on how many big suits you have in your elevator. But stunning from this far away, you generally can avoid them, but then as the pan moves downwards, we headed in closer to it, where I did end up getting hit by things a bit more, but after a very speedy run actually, we were done, and I got a single Mr. Hollywood cog summon. I went to finally go and give my tree some love so I could get my organic throwback, because it can be pretty useful in many situations. and I actually ended up leveling up my watering can to the huge one. I wasn't expecting that. Now that I'd got my merits from the field office earlier, it was actually good timing to go and join for a CCG VP. While I've already maxed my Lawbot suit, I eventually do want to get it to level 50 again so that I can get the new outfit you unlock. The reward was Soggy Nell. I haven't really seen any good SOS cards in a while actually. As we were all pretty high LAFF on my side, the cog round went by easily with a variety of different gags used. No single strategy, but I have been thinking, I really do hope that they change the bosses at some point, or at least have the option for a more difficult version. I feel like sometimes when everyone is just so high LAFF in here, it's just rather easy. Like even going into the Scaly cog round, you have a lure miss, and it's not even too bad of a situation. I'm not saying that I want people to go sad, even though I have been cursed both this video and the last one with someone going sad in the factory and then the field office. But I am saying I just want to feel like there's more stakes or more danger. I don't know. We did have a little bit of trouble in the pie round. We just couldn't get him stunned multiple times. So he kept rolling back up bit by bit for a little while. So it wasn't the quickest, but we all did great. So that's about it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed. And if you did, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already. It would really make my day. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!